Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Faith from Sangha Live. I'm here with Sophie Boyer, who's been leading our daily meditations this week. And we've been exploring the theme of movement and stillness, reflecting on change, impermanence, and we used the image of the stone lion at the beginning of the week, looking at our capacity to rest in awareness amidst the changing circumstances of life. So if you're joining us for the first time, very warm welcome to you from Sangha Live. If you're joining us from the replay in the future, welcome to you too. We're going to have an hour session. We have 15 minutes of guidance, Dharma talk from Sophie, and then we'll have a guided practice for about 30 minutes. And then there's time for questions and answers, or even reflections, sharing, observations. Questions can sometimes feel a bit pressurized, so it doesn't have to be a question, just whatever you would like to share. And you can share those in the chat in the 15 minutes, or you can, if you would like to, come on screen. You can use the raise a hand function at the bottom of your screen, and you can come and have a chat with Sophie. Maybe we get one for the end of the week. All right, and I would also like to let you know that we've got a special Sunday Sangha offering coming up this weekend. I don't know how many of you usually come to our Sunday Sanghas, but it's Vijmala Bush who's teaching this Sunday, and she's the founder of or co-founder of the mindfulness organization Breathworks, and she's really specialized. She's spent pretty much most of her adult life figuring out the practice of mindfulness and meditation specifically for easing chronic pain. She suffered very severe spinal injuries at the age of 24 and then started practicing. And then very not too long later developed her own approach for mindfulness-based pain management. So if you are someone who struggles with chronic illness, pain, disability in your life, and or you have others in your life who struggle, this could be a very specific and particular practice that you might like to look out for. On Sunday, it's free Dharma basis, as always, and she's also going to be leading a course starting on 10th of April, which goes into this approach a little more deeply. And we have scholarships still available for that. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, please do apply. And yeah, last thing is to say thank you very much for your dana that you've offered this week, for the support you're giving to Sangha Live and to Sophie. If you have not yet given, but you're feeling that the generosity is there and the conditions are right in your life to offer, this would be the last day to offer in order for the donation also to go towards supporting Sophie. So you can do that on sangha.live/donate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, warm welcome to everyone. A very rainy and hectic morning in the area of Geneva here. As it is the last session of the week, and that the topic of change is, as we have noticed in many ways, can be pretty challenging. Is there any way to invite, a sense of enthusiastic curiosity about it this morning in me, but maybe, this kind of spirit of fun? When there is, you have noticed that when there is stability, there is awareness, there is this calm and openness and spaciousness. Engaging with that dynamic can be really, really interesting, and in some ways sometimes can be playful, really. So let's invite this spirit this morning for this last hour together. I hope you're all comfortably sitting, and I will do as I've done every morning, a little recap, and then we will move on to something slightly different or in the continuity of what has been told today. So in this reflection, we have moved to this week, and also through our practice. One of the main things that has been discussed and probably met is resistance. And we maybe have come slowly to understand that this resisting and the feeling sometimes, of heaviness and sadness that was coming along, and was just a very natural and sometimes very habitual, and also sometimes not recognized reality. And one last aspect of the way resistance happens is that I really would like to start to really scratch the surface today, is how resistance to change can reinforce a kind of a sense of self, of me being here. And we're going to try to put this in a very practical topic, because in a very practical way. I know this is a full topic, very, very vast, but just really, again, to give a glimpse of how this is something that also, can catch our attention and can be recognized as a way, resistance, construction and sense of me here. And it just start with a reminder here, a Buddha quote. And the Buddha said, when the perception of impermanence is developed and cultivated, it uproots all conceit, I am. I hope it's I'm under the roof and it's raining pretty hard at the moment. I hope the sound is not disturbing for you. So the Buddha said, the perception of impermanence is developed and cultivated. It uproots all conceit of I am. So very practically, in the course of a day and when we practice here, have you noticed when, sometimes change occurs? There is this unpleasant feeling arising and then starting to form around just this unpleasant feeling, this not liking, or this not wanting starting to form. And to give an example, when someone takes, for example, when someone takes something that belongs to you, let's put any object, and but this is an object you're very attached to, this it's dear to you, and in this moment, just put this into sensing. I at the same time I read what's asked in the chat, so I write it here. This is the Buddha, if that's the Louis. Yeah, so let's go back to our example. Someone is taking an object that belongs to you, an object that is very dear, that you really like. Do you get a sense, of the relationship there is with you and the object? And it manifests very, very simply, First, just to say, but the sense of this is mine, this belongs to me. Okay? and the stories, that starts to arise in the mind around that object. For example, here, oh yeah, this object was given to me by that person, and I remember it was that year, and oh yeah, and I remember, we were there and we were doing that, and that moment was such a lovely place. Oh gosh, what a nice memory. And at the same time, not really liking that this person is taking my thing in this moment. And yeah, well, I hope he or she is not going to break it, because it's very valuable. It has a lot of value to me. So noticing here suddenly, somebody taking something that belongs to you, there is an unpleasant feeling and not liking and wanting things to be different. And this full constructed story arising in the mind, and the main character in it, me. You see, this is really just, we're really scratching the surface here, but this is really this aspect of how resistance can take shape, can also be learned to be met, with kindness, and can be learned to be recognized. Just when there is resistance to change, what I mean resistance to change is things wanting to be different from what is happening right here, right now. How the mind can quickly build up a kind of a story, that has not much to do with the reality of the moment. And to see that I am the one at the center of that story. Just to bring this back to the example I gave at the beginning of the week. You remember this woman in the hospital. This is in some way the same thing. She's told a diagnosis. It's unpleasant, terribly unpleasant, and the thought that she was telling us was, oh, I am not sick. This is not true. I am in good shape. I feel healthy. All this story that is taking place, reinforcing this sense of I am healthy. I am okay. And every time in doing this, not being in contact, with the reality anymore. The reality that there is sickness now. Conditions have changed, things have changed. And all this constructed resistance that built up, and of course make us suffer. Really make us suffer. This is really something that needs to be recognized, to develop a kind of a discernment that really recognize what is a source of suffering and what is a source of ease. What helps, what does not. And I think this is a very important point, and this is where we're going to end to the end of this reflection. Is when the Buddha really encourages to develop and cultivate a moment-to-moment perception of impermanence, he indirectly asks us or invites us to care about this. He points out that really a great deal of our struggle and our suffering is really about resisting to what is. Just a moment-to-moment awareness that allows this, this slight shift of perception. And this shift of perception, really realizing it does not change the reality, but suddenly it extends it. So suddenly there is this possibility for us to look and to engage, with change in a, I would say, even radical way, a radical different way, because the perception of it is aggrandizing, is really extending. And there is this possibility to see it, very differently. So yeah. To conclude, to keep in mind, that it is not because things are inconsistent, unstable, unreliable, that we cannot appreciate them and seeing the beauty in them. That in somewhere it's not because there is change that we cannot love or care. It just means we don't look to that experience or that sensation or that emotion or that mood or that thought to give us something it cannot give. Because when we do that, it's the way of looking at things from the perceptions that things are permanent. We really we don't have to be afraid of it, or we don't have to be afraid of life, even if it in its changing nature. Actually, meeting change really leads us to much more appreciation for what is here, for existence. Really a deeper sense of what really matters, what is really important in our life. And just in learning to open to change, we recognizing that we open more fully to, I don't know if we can say that in English, to the fabric of life. We more open to what makes us profoundly human. And when we get in touch with that, there's freedom here. There's really freedom. So again, coming back to this image to Master Kuzan Sunim, this Korean great master, remembering the stone lion at the crossroad, stable, silent, open to the movement of life. Really, movement in stillness. And this is really the domain now we're going to orient the next half hour in formal practice all together. So please feel free to have a zip, to stretch yourself, to inquire about what's the best posture this morning that support alertness and also a sense of ease in the body, maybe in the mind. Noticing how we enter into that space, right here, right now. What's present maybe in the body, in the mind, in the heart. Very gentle attention. Enthusiastic interest. Let's be playful here. Not taking things too seriously. It's just about releasing, it's just about sitting here, lying down, breathing, And really just is knowing that we probably have a roof under our head, that conditions probably right here, right now are okay. Even if worries and concern and things need to be done and there's fear about what may happen, right here, right now, sitting or standing or lying down in front of the computer, in the room we find ourselves in, just really realizing that it's safe, it's okay. Things are moving, changing, arising, passing away. It's okay. It's just the simplicity of this moment. Being with the breath. And from the ground of the posture, noticing this constant movement of breath, inflating, posing, deflating. And really just this, the simplicity of that. From the ground of this body sitting in contact with the floor, whether standing, sitting, or lying down. Noticing maybe the certain tendencies that are forming around change, the contraction, sometimes the absence of reactivity, sometimes a sense of ease and peace, of noticing how we're free from that instability. Really exploring how change affects or does not affect us, with really nothing else to do. being with the changing nature of breathing. With ease, openness. Realizing that whatever has the nature to arise has the nature to pass away. The breath, the sound, physical sensations, emotion, thinking, life. Natural flow of life and death. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing in the body or in the mind when this moment is met with resistance, when it is met without. Trying to get rid of anything, just learning to meet with care, with kindness, with patience, with trust. And for the last couple of minutes, if you wish, if it feels right for you right now, just opening maybe to a sense of gratitude for all the efforts that have been placed into our practice together all along the week. The willingness, rejoice from this willingness to meet, change, the challenges that come along. Really, is it possible to touch a sense of gratitude and taking the time to rejoice from our efforts? Yeah. Instead of focusing on what goes wrong, we appreciating this moments where awareness is present, awareness of change when there is no reactivity. Gratitude and rejoicing for all these moments where the mind is free, the heart is free. reactivity. Maybe to save the aspiration to share the fruits of this practice with our loved ones, with all beings in this world, comes along. May we all experience peace and freedom. Just taking the time to open the eyes, stretching maybe, standing up, moving, bringing a sense of gentle awareness in this moment of change, from immobility to movement, and moment to moment opening to that. And just a few seconds, and I will read a question that is already in the chat. So, thank you, Liza, for your questions. I read it out loud for maybe people who listen to the replay, if I'm not deluded on how things work. The biggest fear of my life is losing my partner. He's a lot older than me and is now retired and looks a lot older. I have no one in life apart from him, and the thought of his loss really terrifies me, as I will be totally alone. I really find it hard to accept that I will lose him one day. Any thoughts regarding the acceptance of losing him are welcome. Lada, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think probably most of us can relate to that. There are a few interesting things that can be maybe pointed out in that. At first, it's really to understand maybe what fear is about, and to really come to see that every time a fear arises within us, this is a fear of something that is not here, right now. Fear is most of the time related to the future. Fear, a kind of thinking, a kind of anxiety. One day he's getting old. One day I'm going to lose him. But actually, and when we go into that thinking, in some way we disconnect with what is here. And what is it for me? What is here for me now is a fear. And instead of just amplifying the fear of thinking about it, I'm going to be alone, I'm going to lose him, how life is going to be without him, I don't want to lose somebody I love so much. Just to realize that this kind of thinking, anticipating on something that has not taken shape yet, that is not here yet. And in these moments when this thinking arises, when this fear arises, just bring me maybe a gentle attention, gentle awareness of fear is what is happening right now. And noticing this tendency of the fear to take us, to disconnect us from the present moment in with all this thinking to what may happen that has not happened yet. Even if I know that at some point we're all going to die, and even my partner. And maybe getting in touch with the anxiety that comes along, getting in touch with this. How does it feel in the body? Just in order to bring the attention back to the reality of this moment. That in this moment, fear arises, my partner is here, is old, but he's here, is not gone. That here, right now, when this fear arises, notice that things are okay. I'm okay, my partner is okay. Because this is the reality. And the fear is building up a story of something that is not real. And the second aspect, maybe that might be interesting to notice here, is that in this building up of thinking, we narrow the possibilities of future. It's in this kind of thinking, there is already an idea, an opinion, a belief of how things will be. Interesting to question that. Is it really true? Yeah, my partner will pass away. This is, yes. But will I be alone? How can I be so sure of that? You know, just to notice that when we're sure about something that hasn't happened, we narrow the field of possibilities. In, you know, life is full of surprise. Just to remain, just really to pay attention when we narrow the field like that, what it does to us, how in some way, you know, it feeds anxiety. It reinforces our habits of thinking. It reinforces the belief, the opinions we have on something. Actually, if you really look at it, we have no clue. We don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be alone. I think it is because the conditions today seems to show it's going to take that direction. And really to see that every time we do that, how we get disconnected. And to respond, finally, it's hard. You say it's hard to accept, you know, and accepting of losing him. What does it require is to pay attention to the non-acceptance. This is the place where we start with. This is what we have, you know, this was a bit that has been reflected upon all the week, is to learn to meet the resistance. You know you don't want to lose him, but this is conceptual. This is thinking this. But do you really meet the not wanting to lose him? In this moment, when this is arising, when this is happening, you know, in a way, because this is what brings you back to the totality of this moment. You stop when you come back to this moment, to the fear, to the not accepting what's going on. You profoundly connect yourself with what is right here, right now. And this ceases to feed this tendency to think about things, about future, to anticipate, to get worried. You know, it brings you back in this moment. And really to explore every time this, you do this, you come back to this, you come back, you open, you give some space for this fear to arise, you give some space for this non-acceptance to arise without manipulating this experience, without trying to control or to change things because we don't like, we don't want. Just notice the difference. In terms of experience, notice the difference in your body. Notice the difference in your mind, in your heart. Does it make a difference? It's really a field of exploration here. With care, with a lot of care, with a lot of love. Yeah. This path is really about learning to love what is unlovable in some way. And losing somebody, this reality of death, is really something that we don't like. It's about learning to meet what is unlovable. This is where kindness, this is where love starts. I don't know, Liza, if it brings something or reflection. But thank you for sharing that with us. I think we all can relate to that. Yes, of course, Jane, you can come on screen, of course. Hello, Jane.
Hello. Thank you so much. This week has been so nourishing and so creating of spaciousness. I had a problem with my tech, my telephone, my phone broke and I had to get another phone. And at the time I was trying to make my new phone speak to my old phone and speak to the computer and blah, blah, blah. And was incandescent with rage that how difficult it was. And I was hearing your words about just accepting what is and having patience, and it really helped. It really helped, and I worked out what to do with all this techie stuff in the end. Thank you very much. I'm very fond of quotes, and I write them on little cards and keep them by me. And thank you very much for the quote that you gave of what the Buddha said about impermanence and the conceit of I am. So I think I understood that to mean that the more we accept impermanence, the less that we are in the centrality of the self. And you said something during the meditation this morning, which I think sounded something like, whatever has the nature, I think the word was nature, to arise, has the nature to fall away. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
Okay.
I said, what has the nature of to arise has the nature to pass away.
To pass away.
Yeah,
That's
like
really
that.
helpful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to come on to say deep gratitude. Lovely to meet you. Lovely the way Sang Alive brings us so many beautiful teachers, and you're a new teacher to me, and I'm very grateful to have you in my life. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much for your feedback, Jane. That's quite nourishing. And thank you also for just taking the time to come and to join and to practice and to support Sangha Live and to support every one of us. It's such an opportunity of being able to journey all together. Really, thank you. Yeah, I guess we're heading toward the end of this session, and this week, really a deep sense and a deep bow and appreciation for your support, really, as practitioner. The value of starting days in community and practicing together is so supportive, so helpful. So thank you again for Sangha Live and Faith for your great support all week. Everything from my side went on so smoothly. It's really a delight. I just, as I'm reading the comments. Okay, may you all be well and be supported wherever you find yourself in life, and yeah, please take a good care. I think we end up here just appreciating gratitude and a nice comment. Thank you to all, really. Thank you. Have a great weekend.